We are live.
Hey, you giant freaks on Facebook. How are you? It's Friday at 4:20. I'm Mike Neighbors, and if you're listening to this on the radio, it's because it's Friday afternoon. You're listening to Funny 820, and the weekend is at hand. We are here with another edition of this Friday at 4:20. I hope you will hang around and enjoy it. Our guest for this edition of Friday at 4:20 backdoored us at the last minute. We're not going to mention any names, Mike Mitchell. But you know what? We're going to go on anyway. We're going to soldier on. Me and the two fellas who are always here with you for Friday at 4:20. We're going to have a little bit of fun here this afternoon, and we hope you will hang around for that. So let's get right to introducing our panel. As he always is, the first person I introduce, because you always want the opener first before the headliner, Patrick Coppolino.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, Patrick. How are you?
I'm good. I treated myself to an early birthday present yesterday.
Oh, when's your birthday?
November 6th.
Okay, that is a little bit early. That's a little premature.
A little early, yeah.
What was your early birthday gift?
My friend helped put together like a custom-built gaming computer. So I got one of those because I'm preparing for the next shutdown. I'm gonna need more to do at home.
You're getting ready for the second wave, baby.
Yeah.
Wow. So what would a custom-made gaming computer? What would be different about it than the regular computers that those of us who don't game have?
It's like really powerful graphics cards, processors, stuff like that. They could just handle like high def stuff.
So that gaming stuff that's coming out. It's like 3D. It's like you're almost immersed in it, right?
Yeah, it's pretty. You can get. They had like all these fancy monitors for like $1,200 that are like curved. But even the guy at the store is like, it's kind of a gimmick, but it's more. I'm not that into gaming that I need to feel like I'm in the game.
Right.
Just like playing around, but it's also for this stuff, streaming and all that stuff.
Now we could sell Manolis one of them curved video screens if it was for watching porn.
Yeah.
Now I'm listening.
Everybody say hello to our good friend Manolis Zontanos.
Decanis.
Take it easy, my friend. How are you?
Good, man. It's always good seeing you.
It's always good seeing you. It's funny, I was having a conversation about you the other day because I was talking to a good friend of mine. He used to work in radio with him, and now he's a city councilor. His name is Jason Farr.
Yes, I know Jason Farr.
Yes, well, Councilor Farr said we were chatting a little bit about Friday at 4:20, and he's like, and right away he went, oh, man, I remember Manolis walking around in his like Speedo, being the lifeguard, and that was right where he went.
Yeah. Well, like he always asked me to make sure I wore the Speedo when I was working, so I did it.
Well, that was weird, wasn't
it? Yeah. He's the first person to ever interview me for stand-up comedy.
Oh, really? Was it when he was at the radio station and you were doing stand-up and did you come to the radio station for an interview with him?
No, I actually did it over the phone, believe it or not.
Oh, okay.
But it was, what was that radio station? Was it CKOC?
Talk 820.
No, before that.
Was that before that? Okay, then it would have been the oldie station. Oldies 1150 is.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
So your first radio interview with Jason Farr. Look where you
were. And look, nowhere.
Jason actually said, one of the things Jason said to me was that when you were a lifeguard, he said he was like, Manolis was like the funniest guy around. Like he said, I was not shocked at all that he got into comedy and continues to do comedy today because he says you were one of the funniest guys he'd ever met.
Oh, it's like you're lucky. I'm lucky enough that I got to do it and I get the courage to do it. But yeah, I always liked joking around and being an idiot. I never thought that it could go somewhere else than I thought like, oh, just me. And you're like, next thing you know, you're on stage. But it was fun. Being a lifeguard was really fun because when there's kids around, you can kids are the best to like joke around with and just be an idiot. The bigger idiot you are, the more they laugh. It's so fun watching, making kids laugh.
Do you find that, Patrick? Are you very playful with your daughter as far as like always poking fun and pressing her buttons and getting her jazzed up? I mean, do you do that kind of thing?
Yeah, well, he's teasing her, trying to make her laugh and stuff. She loves it. Like she eggs me on to do it.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree with you, Manolis. Like kids are the best. You know, it'd be horrible to have a room full of kids and be a stand-up comic for them. But kids, like one-on-one playing with a kid is so much fun because they don't take everything so seriously, right? You can totally push their buttons and have fun with them and jerk around with them, and they think it's funny.
Oh yeah.
But also gets abused by Esther. Like when
Really,
he shows
eh?
up, she's like perfect. We had a birthday party for last year, and all the girls. As soon as Manolis showed up, remember Manolis? She was showing the other kids like, look, we can beat him up. So then at one point he was on the ground, and there's like 8 kids like kicking him in the stomach. Some of them are on top of him. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's just a giant walking playground.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. They are truly amazing. The other interesting part too is like if you just start to lie to them, their whole thing is to try to catch you on the lie. I used to tell kids that when I was a lifeguard that I had my own TV show, and it was on after Fear Factor, and I had the show called The Robot, and it's just me doing my robot dancing so amazing that it's just me doing the robot dance for half an hour. And then they'd watch Fear Factor with Joe Rogan, and then afterwards they'd come back next week. It's like, I watched Fear Factor, and afterwards you weren't on. And I'm like, oh, did I say after? I meant before. And they're like, just endless joy.
And what you deserve some sort of kickback from Joe Rogan for bringing all that audience to his little Fear Factor show.
Oh yeah. There's at least extra 50 kids watch Fear Factor.
Well, boys, because we don't have a special guest this week, we came up special guest short. So first of all, we're gonna play a little bit of the game. We certainly want this to still be an entertaining episode of the show, but I thought it was also a great opportunity for us to just sort of just a little walk down memory lane, because we've been doing this show now for a couple of years. We have over 120 episodes or something we've done.
This would be 112.
This is 112, so we haven't quite got to 120. When I left just before the Zoom call to go grab this. Look at this.
Oh my
God. The
God.
original wheel. Remember when, in order to get a topic, people had to spin the prize wheel. Then we eventually got rid of that. Actually, it was taken away from us. The promotion department at K-Light, our sister station, wouldn't let me use the wheel anymore because the funny station doesn't have any of its own props. So then we stole the Plinko board, actual Plinko board. We even put our name on it. I don't know if you can see that in the camera. Friday at 420 Plinko board, which we've been using ever since. So that's our little start down memory lane. Now, if I recall correctly, Manolis, did you and Patrick approach me together about doing something on the radio?
The way I remember it is like we've talked about being on the radio in the past before, like mentioned stuff, and then I think it didn't work out because I don't think we could afford it at the time, and then or ever. And then I was coming in to promote my Girl Penis album.
Right.
And you pulled me in your office and you asked me, it's like, I have a proposition for you. I'm thinking what? Like, what could you?
This is gonna go badly.
I'm like, and then you just offered me
score mushrooms or something, yeah.
But you just offered me to do a radio show. Like at first, actually, it was interesting because you actually offered to do me a radio show. I need you to pick one other guy, and then you're just gonna have a guest every week, and with something like kind of the idea already. And then I'm like, who do you want to use? I'm like, oh, Patrick. I'm like, perfect. Okay, talk to him. And then, because originally it was funny, you wanted to be involved, but you didn't actually want to be on the show. I don't know if you remember this.
Yeah, I didn't want the work.
Yeah. So we're like, okay. And then like within that week before we did it, it's like, I think you might even just told us when we showed up.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, I changed the plans. I'm going to be part of it. And then we're like, okay. And then we just did the first episode. And it was one of those things where it's funny, if anybody listens to episode 1 and any of the episodes after, there's no difference. Like we
haven't grown at all.
We haven't grown at all, but it's weird that how I felt like I'm like, I remember just doing the show and this feeling a little like, can I say this? There was a little bit of that, but besides that, the groove was like there from the beginning. Like it didn't. I'm like, oh, this is the show.
Patrick, do you remember all this the same? Is that generally your recollection, or did Manolis get something wrong there?
No, that's almost exactly the same.
Almost exactly the same.
Yeah.
Your memories?
I do remember the first meeting, the one where we sat down, like Manolis said, when you told us that you kind of had the format figured out and stuff like that.
Right.
And I just remember how relieved we were that you were a part of it, because we wouldn't be on episode 112 if you weren't, because we would have rambled for like the whole 40 minutes on one topic for the first 6 episodes, and then we would have got canceled.
you know, it's funny because I'm sure you've seen it, right? I mean, we've seen other guys start podcasts and stuff like that, but there is, and that's the only thing that I honestly have tried to bring to it was just whatever knowledge I've developed in 30 years of broadcasting. I mean, some sort of broadcast sense that the show's got to keep moving. It's got to have energy. It's got to, all that kind of stuff. And we always discuss right from the start that was good, that you guys gave me full latitude to sort of cut people off, move on to the next topic, and just to keep it moving so that it has that energy. So when you're listening in your car or wherever you're listening, the 40 minutes kind of flies by like it does for us. And that's, I think, because it's always moving. So I'm so glad that we decided to start it, and that we stuck with it. And you guys have stuck with it, and it's been a blast. It's been great for funny, for the funny radio station, but it also has been great for local comedy. We've dragged in here just about every local comic who's been playing, and I got to think that it's also been helpful in some of the success Levity Comedy Club has had.
Oh yeah, there was a bunch of people that would come every week that told us that they heard about it on the radio, so that was cool. And it was so funny when people saw us, because then they're like, because they'd see us there, but because we're on the radio, they don't know what we look like, but we have the ads in the bathroom for the show and our pictures on it. Yes. So then like halfway through the night, they're like, oh, you're the guys.
That's awesome.
That was cool, yeah.
You are listening to Friday at 420 on Funny 820 if you're in your car. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I am joined today, of course, with Manolis Zontanos, Patrick Coppolino, and our special guest bailed on us. So we're just taking a little trip. Just trying to remember what it was like at the beginning, because 112 episodes of anything is a lot of episodes. And we have. Now, do you guys recall, is there a show, a moment, a particular guest, something from the past that you go, if I'm thinking of what sort of encapsulates the journey that's been Friday at 420, it was one of my favorite moments was, anything pop to mind there, Manolis? You looked a little dazed, but that tends to be normal.
So much, I'm so much to think about. I'm trying to figure out. I was really stoked on, it's not even that long ago, and we did episode 100 that Russell Peters was nice enough to do the show for us.
That was awesome. It was really cool having Russell on. Yes, and that gave us a little validation, right? That we're not just the schmucks that you see here on the Facebook page.
Right. It just it definitely gave us some type of credibility. It's one of those things too. It's like that was like, I'm gonna ask him for this favor to be on the show, and like I felt like I'm gonna ask you this because this is what I get to ask you for never asking you for money.
That's right. Well, he even said on the show, right, that he goes, dude, how many times you've been in LA? You've never called. I mean, that's one of the reasons he loves you, is because everybody else is like, oh, I don't know, like, hey, Russell, can we crash at your place? That's like, I mean, I'm sure he gets that all the time.
For him, it was one of those things like I knew, because I think I might have even known, I might know like non-famous Russell almost as long as famous Russell now. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I remember seeing the change and like slowly losing him as not a friend, but like just being able to talk to him and see him as much as I used to. But I was always thought in my head, I'd rather have him as a friend than ask him for money. I'd rather be broke. And it's funny too, because there was a good like several years where I was dirt broke, man. And I still never reached out for him like for anything, because I'm like, I'd rather just have his friendship, and it just paid. So I'm luckily paid off. Like I got through it.
I think that's very cool. I thought it was also super cool that you hooked up Russell and Donnie Coy when Donnie was in the hospital, and you got Russell on to lift his spirits and did a FaceTime with him. That was really cool. That's the kind of decent person that you are. Manolis. Patrick and I would just like to, and I think Patrick will agree with me, and you certainly decide if you want to agree with me or not, Patrick. But you will agree with me that part of the reason that we've had some success, at least, is Manolis is the same thing with Russell is the same with everybody else in comedy. Manolis calls them and they go, "For you, Manolis? Yes, I'll do it."
Yeah. Yeah, if I called them, they're like, "No."
Well, now
Busy.
you got a comedy club you can wave in their face, so maybe. But it is on Manolis's good graces that we've been able to have so many great comics join us.
Yeah.
I like the fact that we have a lot of comics for the Hamilton scene that are like, gonna be like, one day they're gonna be like, look at that guy now. Oh yeah, we had him on Friday 420 when he was nobody.
That's when we'll make some extra dough by replaying that episode over and over.
Yeah.
Patrick, is there a moment or a time along the way that you remember that you were like, wow, yeah, that was cool, or that was particularly funny or embarrassing?
Russell didn't go on and on about what a great guy I am, so not that episode. Any episode that Scott Falconbridge was on, and that's not because he's participating in the chat right now, and I know he's watching.
Scotty is awesome. He's one of our best guests.
Yeah, he's been on quite a few times too, right?
He has. He's 4 or 5 times, 4 times maybe, but I remember a couple of times I've had to go back and choose reruns to air, and I always and twice now I've gone back and found an old Scott Falconbridge because they always are funny shows. He's a funny dude.
Yeah, well, it's awesome because I know Manolis likes it too when he's on because watching him try to figure out Manolis as a human all the time, like Manolis will say something and Scott's face, like he's known him for years and he's still like can't believe what's coming out of Manolis's mouth. It's so funny.
Yeah. I think that probably the biggest, it was just sort of an opportunity to draw back the curtain a little bit on how Friday at 420 is put together. But one of the funniest things, I don't know if you guys remember, like, there's rumors all the time that Dean Martin never really drank. Foster Brooks played a drunk on TV. He never drank. Manolis doesn't actually do drugs. So we're just going to let that one hang there, right?
Yeah. Oh, imagine. I remember the day you guys found out that I was drinking?
Oh, yeah. That's right. In the studio.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, that's probably my favorite moment of the show so far.
Totally against all rules that we have here in our building. And I'm like, I just turned the other cheek. I pretended I didn't know. I still, to this day, I didn't even know you were doing that.
But should we tell the story?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
I just well, you know what? You tell it, Pat.
Well, yeah. So Manolis always has like a can of Coke at the station, and like we were at that point, we were doing it at like 11 or maybe noon. It was like 12 p.m. He has a can of Coke, and then he went. I think you went to go to the bathroom, so we didn't even start yet. We hadn't even started recording, and I was thirsty, and he always has his can, but I've never taken a sip out of his drink. But I was so thirsty, I didn't have a drink, so I'm like, I'm just gonna take like a big gulp of this Coca-Cola. I take like a big gulp, and it's just pure whiskey. There's like, I swear to God, it was like 3 parts whiskey, 1 part Coca-Cola. It was just, and it was warm. It was disgusting. But I had this moment. I'm like, oh my God, he's been doing this every day.
Or every time we do the show, I've been doing it it's been like 6 months in, and I always have a can of Coke, and I walk back in, and I thought I did a pretty good job at keeping a secret.
Yeah. Remember I got you to smell it, Mike?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh no. I could, and once the only thing was, once you pointed it out, then every subsequent episode, it's sort of, you catch a whiff of something, and normally it would just pass by, you wouldn't think of it, and it's like, oh, there's the freaking rye again.
But I walk in, and you guys are both looking at me so weird, and I go, what? And then Pat says something, but you're just shaking your head at me, like you're so disappointed. I'm like, I drank your Coke, and I'm like, oh. Why did you do that?
Was there was a couple was there not a couple on the show? I don't think they're boyfriend and girlfriend, but like a male female comedian. They were on the show once, and they were like drinking beers.
Oh, that was Chris Adoranti and Angelica Skinnera.
Yes, and they had already had beers before they got to the studio.
Yeah, yes. I think so.
It's so funny. A lot happens by 1 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to share with you probably the highlight, and you know, it probably goes back again to just being an old radio dog and having been around for a million years. But my two favorite episodes were the two that we did live, when we were live on the radio. And when we're doing it, you guys are like just sort of looking to me for cues, so you probably wouldn't think that much of. But the whole time in my head, I know that we're live on my radio station right now, pumping out to the world. We did the live Christmas show with Pat and Ralph. That was awesome. And then we did one from Anchor Bar
with Yanis Pappas.
Yes. With Yanis Pappas.
Yeah.
And that was a great show too. And we had some technical difficulties at the start of that one, but I would, as soon as we can get past some of this COVID crap, I would love to do a couple more live episodes, because I think there's I just have a little bit of a different energy, feeling like anything could happen, kind of, that I can't take out in post.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Those do feel way more exciting in a weird way too, because you're like.
Well, usually there's other people around, right? We had an audience around, and even if they're not really paying attention, it's just nice to be in front of people.
The Christmas one, for sure, there was people sitting in the room watching. Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of weird.
Yeah. We always think it's weird when we realize people do like it. Like
people aren't paying attention at all. We're just really entertaining ourselves here at this point. You're listening to Friday at 420 on Funny 820. I'm Mike Nabuurs. He's Manolis Zontanos. The other guy is Patrick Coppolino. We appreciate you hanging out with us. Our guest bailed on us today, so we just decided we're just going to kill 40 minutes on our own. Hope you're enjoying it. Patrick, quick update. Update number one. How's playing poker with Manolis' money going?
So far, so good.
Have you played another game since the last time we talked?
I was supposed to this weekend, but then this past weekend, but I forgot it was Thanksgiving, so
right.
I couldn't abandon family dinner for poker, but then I'd have a problem. But
yes, a real problem, buddy.
But this Sunday, we'll see. But it's going.
We're going to try to line something up this Sunday.
Yeah.
Excellent. So. What would the buy-in be?
Well, we still, so far we've done just $55 buy-ins, but we've been.
I think we need to up it. I think we need to go big.
We should too, because we've been. I know we've been cashing every time, so we've.
Twice is a trend, my friend.
Right. Third time's the charm. Let's do
It's
five.
Manolis' money. I can say all this without any problems.
We're gonna do.
I'm okay with it.
$10,000 buy-in this Sunday.
Yeah.
No, but we might up it to $109.
Go big. So 100 US.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that'd be cool. All right. You've already made that much money. You can just keep it in the pot and let it roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's see how that goes. Hey, Manolis?
Yeah,
are you
let's do it. I'm in, dude. Whatever.
You're in 100%, dude.
I leave it up to Pat.
He doesn't even watch. He just, next time he sees me, he's like, "Did we win?"
Yeah. I don't even call him on the day. I just when it's like, what happened? Anything happened? Do I need to know?
Update number two from you, Patrick Coppolino. Levity Comedy Club. So this week, obviously, we weren't able to get the headliner on this week in time to do our show. But who's headlining this weekend? It's going to be another great show, Levity Comedy Club.
We have Kenny versus Spenny.
Kenny versus Spenny. How awesome is that?
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and it's I think partly why they weren't available to do the show. The show's already sold out, so
we're already sold out, so we don't even have to talk about
two shows. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's awesome too because we booked. This is one of the shows that was supposed to be in April, and it got canceled, and then we rescheduled it. And the tickets were gone. Like, so many people, when I posted that it was sold out, were like, I didn't even see the promotion for this, because they were just gone so fast.
Well, they're super popular still, right? I mean, so many people remember the awesomeness of their show. Who else do we have coming up? Can you look forward for us a little bit, just because if people can't buy tickets to this weekend show?
This weekend sold out, but we've got John Doerr coming at the end of November. We're doing 4 shows with him.
That'll be big.
Yeah, so tickets are up now for that.
What do you do on Halloween night? Because that's a Saturday night.
It is?
Yeah, it is. We decided to not open for Halloween.
Why?
Because this year everything's up in the air, and it's like no one knows what's going on for Halloween this year, right? And
right.
So it could go either way. It could either be because there's not much else going on this year, it could be really busy. But last year we threw a big Halloween party and we had a DJ and everything, and even that was I don't know. I think people just want to. if they're not trick or treating with their kids, they're like getting drunk at someone's house or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the only other thing I would say that throws kind of a wrinkle in is like particularly like a costume party. I don't know if I would wear a costume to a comedy club because I'd just be ripe for the picking on, right?
Well, if there's a show, last time we didn't do a show, we just threw a party. And that was fun. Like we could have, but we can't do that this year.
Right.
So I don't know if people would come out just for a show. And selfishly, like I want to spend Halloween with my kid because she's 8.
Are you doing something Friday night? The Friday night of Halloween weekend? Is there somebody performing that night, or are you doing a local show? Or
no, we've actually COVID has killed Fridays.
Oh, right. You just do Thursday, Saturday.
We're just doing Wednesdays and Saturdays right now. Yeah.
Okay, Wednesdays and Saturdays. So I'm getting all caught up here. Thank you, Patrick Coppolino, for our latest Levity Comedy Club update. You know, it's important. I know the audience at home or listening in their car right now is like, oh my God, like move on, buddy. Like, what's this? But we have to do this for Manolis so he knows what he's doing in the near future. Oh, when's it open?
I don't know what I'm gonna do on Halloween. I guess I'll go trick or treating myself.
I'm telling you, dude, I was gonna go dressed as you. If there was something going on at the comedy club, I was coming dressed as you, dude.
You know how exhausted people always like, what are you gonna be? Do you know how exhausting it is just to be me? Like I gotta change. I don't have the energy to change.
Well, it wouldn't be a Friday at 420 without at least a couple of trips around the Plinko board. So let's do this. Let's do this topic. Let me find my topics here. Hang on a second. I didn't even have all my envelopes filled with topics yet.
I just want to quickly shout out to Ryan Sim as well. He's chiming in the chat. He watches.
Way to go, Ryan!
He watches every episode.
Ryan, you're the best. We love you. And if you want to make the arrangements, Ryan, we'll come and do an episode in your living room. All right. We're not above anything. Let's talk about flooring.
Flooring.
Yeah, sure. Let's turn this into a little bit of a men's hardware program. Let's talk flooring. What's your preference for flooring? Would it be carpet, hardwood, ceramic, or other? What do you think is the best flooring for me to put through my house?
I like ceramic because it's nice and cold.
Oh, you like the ceramic, do you? Because that's the complaint about ceramic is that it is cold. Although you can get heated ceramic now.
Yeah.
Have you seen the heated ceramic where they run little heat lines through it and it warms it up?
You can turn that on and off as you please.
Yeah.
Then yeah, heated ceramic, 100%.
Heated ceramic, yeah. What about you, Manolis? You got a preference on flooring?
Oh boy, you have no idea. It's so funny.
You've ended up on a few floors, so.
What is it? Okay, you know what's the flooring in classrooms, schools? What is that?
That's like a hard linoleum kind of like a hard linoleum tile.
So there's a school that off of Ferguson, downtown Hamilton, that got built several years ago, and my godfather got the contract. He's a flooring guy. He got the contract to do the whole school. So I spent 2 months doing all the classrooms in that whole school.
Wow.
Like yeah, so I was like, I had to like sweep the cement, clean it up, put the glue, put the whatever those square little
tiles, the big tiles, right?
The big tiles. I had to put that. Like I did everything.
Was that with Chris Pick?
No. That's not with Chris Pick. This is a job through like this guy Dino that used to own Avon Theater. Okay. So every classroom had a sink that wasn't attached. That's one thing you need to know. The second thing you need to know is that the bathrooms were not hooked up either. So every time I wanted to take a piss, I'd have to go down 3 floors, go outside to this porta potty thing, and go back up. And I got tired of like walking so far. So I just, because I was in these classrooms, there was no one in this building, right?
Right. You're solo. You're just doing all this heavy labor.
Yeah. So I started just pissing in bottles. Okay. Because there's no one in the school. No one. It's a ghost town. So then I got an idea because I knew the plumber hadn't showed up for the school yet. There's like probably 150 classrooms, so 150 sinks. I did all. So after a while, instead of throwing the piss bottles in the garbage, I would take the piss bottle and put it beside the pipe from the sink at the bottom. I put it just beside there because the guy had to still hook up the sink, the plumber. Right. But I did it 150 times. So every classroom had a piss bottle beside the pipe, So I knew because I knew the plumber eventually that came one day to hook up like 150 sinks. We'd be like, what the? And then like by the third one, he's like, wait a minute.
Second. This is disgusting.
I know. So I put the lids on the bottles, but like there's basically 150 piss bottles inside 150 sinks.
Oh.
That's
what school is that?
It's off of Ferguson, and somewhat like Cannon or something, or between Cannon and whatever. You know, it's fairly new. I know.
That's a fascinating story, Manolis. It didn't answer my question.
Okay, what was the question? I can floor. I'll floor your house. Is that the question?
What's your favorite flooring? Would you, if you were putting flooring in a house for yourself, would you put in carpet? Would you put in hardwood, or ceramic, or something else?
I'm gonna say carpet, like furry carpet though, like 70s.
Oh, like shag
carpet,
like a nice 70s shag.
Yeah, and I'm gonna like have a lot of sex on that carpet.
Oh man, right.
But see, like,
by myself,
carpet, carpet seems like the worst thing to have sex on. For cleaning.
Well, a shag carpet, dude, and yeah, I'd put extra foam underneath it, man. Yeah, I made the mistake of having sex on a carpet, and the next day, your knees, if you're on top, your knees are just like done.
Your dad's like, Manoli, don't eat yogurt over carpet.
Wait, why is all this?
Use a spoon.
Manoli. You're worn out my shag. All right. We got time for one more time. We almost burned. Can you believe how fast we burned through 40? We only got time for one more topic, boys. Friday at 4:20, funny 8:20. Thank you so much for listening. We promise next week we'll have a guest. We promise it'll be more entertaining than this drivel. Your topic on this one, and I started with Coppolino on the last one, so this one's for you, Zontanos. We're thinking back to when you were a kid, okay?
All right.
I want to know, all of a sudden, there's a box of crayons in front of you. What's your go-to color? What's your go-to crayon color? What's the first one you go? Were you a black crayon guy, purple crayon guy, red? What was your go-to crayon color?
I'm gonna say blue, but I also will say
a good navy. No, we're not talking like aquamarine. You weren't like that, were you?
Anything. I like a light blue or whatever.
Oh,
I don't think there was
aquamarine. Wow.
Yeah, I always like blue. For some reason, I like blue. I always color blue. Look, I'm wearing blue now. I think that's definitely one of my favorite colors. What I stupidly saved my allowance and bought, like, there was like 100. I think it was like 101.
120.
120. That was
120.
Crayola crayons in
yes.
grade. I bought them in grade 2. I was in grade 2, and I was the only kid in this class. I couldn't read, but I had like 200 crayons. You know what I mean? So I was the most popular kid in that classroom. I remember vividly. So for me, I was obsessed with keeping not losing one. You didn't want, if you lost one, you lost, the set's gone, right?
It's broken, yeah.
But every kid in the classroom, when there was coloring something, someone was like, hey, can I borrow your fusion green or whatever green? Like, I'd be like, okay. But then, like, I spent the rest of the day, I'm like, hey, man, you done with my crayon? You done with my crayon? I had to be on top of it. I need it back because I don't want to lose my set. So
it's a full set,
right?
Listen, I know, dude. You can't. It's like you had a full set of hockey cards, and some kid goes, "Can I borrow the Dave Keon?" And you're like, "Well, you can borrow, but I gotta have it back, otherwise I don't have a full set."
Right. And then you thought it was so cool that it had a pencil sharpener in the box, for the crayon. But dude, I tell you, I was like, this is the last day of school. And this kid that I'm like, I swear to God, it was like an epic moment in my life, because he goes, hey, that's really cool, this that box of crayons you have. And he goes, I go, do you like it? It's like, yeah. It's like, here, take it. You can have it. It's like, really? I'm like, yeah, please take it.
Because it's become my nightmare.
Yeah, because I hated it. I realized, it's like when he said he liked it, I'm like, here, just take it. I wanted nothing to do with this box of crayons, because I spent the whole year, instead of learning how to read, I'm just collecting crayons all day.
Yeah.
It's the crayon monitor.
Manolis ran into that guy a few years ago when he was on a date with his girlfriend, and that guy was like, hey, I really like that girl you're with right now. He's like, take her, dude. Just take her.
I'm done.
I'm done.
I'm done. I still can't read. I'm done.
Yeah. I would say Taker probably.
Coppolino, what was your go-to color? You remember? I mean, every kid had a color. The first one they went, okay, grab that one because I'm going to be doing some coloring with that one.
Yeah, I think mine was blue too. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think so, but
I was a red guy. I was red. I'd go red.
It only mattered for like a couple, maybe 2 months if you're lucky, because especially at school, if you had one of those plastic pencil cases, for some reason you go to school with like 28 different colors, and then after 2 months they're all black.
Yes,
I don't know how that happens, but
how does that happen?
They're all black.
That's bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah.
Listen, since you mentioned Crayola, I'm just going to tell a very quick story, but it's one of my classic stories about Crayola. So back a bunch of years ago, so I'm in my, I don't know, my 20s or whatever, and I used to smoke smoke a little pot, and I had a boxes of plasticine. Remember plasticine? Remember, like, it was all nice and mold it and all that?
Yeah.
So I had boxes of this colored plasticine, a bunch of different colors. So I started sculpting the plasticine, and I made an entire miniature rock band. Every night, I'd smoke a little pot, I'd make another character for my rock band, and I staged them and everything. And they were like really so it was like the lead singer was kind of mostly made out of gold, but then he had a red guitar, and it was pretty cool looking, I thought. So, but now I want to kind of freeze this stuff, right? Because plasticine never ever goes hard, not like Play-Doh. Plasticine won't go hard. So I call Crayola because they're the makers of the plasticine, and I get a factory, a place up in a laboratory rather, up in Lindsay, Ontario is where the Crayola laboratory is. So I call and I'm explaining the situation, which was a weird one, right? I've made some stuff out of plasticine. I want to make it hard. Can you help me? And so they finally put me through. They put me through to the laboratory, and I get this laboratory guy. So I said, yeah, listen, I've made a bunch of stuff out of your plasticine, but I need to harden it. Can you help me? And then the guy, I swear to God, starts having a breakdown on the phone. He's like, it was almost like he was kind of quietly sobbing into the phone. And I'm like, what's wrong, dude? And he's like, I have spent my entire life working on making sure it never goes hard. And now you just call and want to ruin my life's work.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And I'm like, dude, I'm so sorry. And I hung up, and I never called it. I never made it hard. It was just, that was my plasticine band. You know what? I still have it.
You never got the whole band hard?
I never got the whole band hard. Thank you for that, Patrick. That's an excellent.
I was just watching Manolis through that whole story. Him just biting his lip every time you said, I told him I need to get them hard.
Stop saying hard.
Well, that will be my new ending to the story. And the moral of the story is I couldn't get the whole band hard. Guys, it's been a blast. I think we did okay without a guest.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, you know what? Who needs a guest? But we'll have one next week because it'll be way better. Patrick, anything you'd like to say in closing, brother? Maybe a social media we can follow?
Yes. Follow Levity Comedy Club at Levity Comedy Club on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter's at Club Levity, and go to levitycomedyclub.com. See what shows we got coming out. Come hang out, support the club. We're down to we've got Wednesdays, which are great. Like last night was a full show. It was awesome. And then we've got Saturdays on the weekends. A lot of great people coming up, and specifically we got John Doerr at the end of November. 4 shows. Tickets are on sale right now, and those probably will sell out. So get your tickets if you want to come.
That'll be awesome. All right, thank you, sir. Manolis, over to you, brother.
A buddy of mine owns a store called Sealed Art. It's on Gage and Maine. If you need framing done or needing something plaque to wood, I've been friends with these guys for like 30 years, and they're good friends of mine. But great store. Check them out if you need something to frame.
And I had a friend of mine from outside of town, and he was in Hamilton and wanted to look for vinyl. For vinyl. Is there a friend of yours, Manolis, that sells vinyl?
Oh yeah, Into the Abyss.
Into the Abyss. I couldn't remember the name of it. Into the Abyss is the place I need to send him on Lock Street, right?
Yes. They're open. Yeah, I've known that guy for years too. I've probably known that guy for 20 years. But yeah, he owns his own record store. Yeah, It's perfect.
So if you're looking for cool vinyl, check out Into the Abyss. Thank you so much, Patrick Coppolino. Manolis Zontanos, as always, it was a blast. Thank you most of all to all of you watching on Facebook. We appreciate it. And to those of you listening in your car on Funny 820, thank you again for tuning in to Friday at 420. And until we get a chance to talk to you again in 7 days, have an awesome weekend!
Woo!